Hello, it's Fast Charlie. What I'm doing is a little bit different today. Today I have a lock here. We do not have a key for this. And I say we because I have my 10-year-old son. He goes by Eddie Main for YouTube purposes. He is actually going to be 11 next week. So he has a tensioner here, and as you can see, it is locked up. And he's actually going to go ahead and start picking, try to get it open so that we can make a challenge lock. Go ahead.
I have a Southward hook, and I'm going to try to open it.
It's from the PXS 14 set. And this is just a 5-pin Kwikset. And we're going to make a challenge lock out of this. And he expressed interest in learning about tools and making a challenge lock all on his own. So I think I know what tools he will be able to use safely and with supervision, of course. And be creative with the with the way that he makes a lock. And I'm going to take this out for him and put that right here and get rid of this. But I think that you know, sometimes when people go ahead, he's going to gut it the traditional way, just by starting by taking the clip off, and then he's going to gut it the traditional way that you would challenge lock, just for practice purposes, good practice. And should put a shim in there. Yeah. Anyway, I just think that sometimes people get the wrong idea when you talk about lock sport or hobby picking. Yeah, let's make sure that this is all the way in here. There you go. Now it's ready to do the follower. Make sure that the pins are aimed the right way so they don't fall out.
That way?
I think so, yeah. Check them. There you go. Now grab it. There you go. And then just set that aside. And then dump those pins out.
All of them at once?
No, one at a time. In the right slot. And then, anyway, I think that sometimes people get the wrong idea when they hear someone is a hobby picker or hear about lock sport. Just kind of want to address that. Just, I think it's a really cool activity. It can be fun for everybody. It's a lot of, there's a lot of creativity and just an understanding of mechanics as far as how locks work. I think with anything, and any kind of hobby, or just anything in general, flip it upside down there.
Oh yeah.
Because the pin's going to be right here, but you have to take this shim out. Yep. There you go. I'll slide it back very slowly. Keep it in frame.
Oh yeah.
You're good. And put it right there. That's a standard. Anyway, it's an opportunity to be creative, get an understanding of mechanics, but like anything, you know, whether it's driving or learning how to shoot a gun or target practice, or even something as simple as tying knots, anything that you know can be used for good or for bad. And just knowing that, just having an understanding of how to use your knowledge for good. It's okay. We can just keep on going and get the pins out, and then we'll just dump all the springs out at once.
Yeah.
But anything that you know could potentially be used for good or bad. And I think that lock picking is no different. It's an opportunity for kids to learn when you should do something, when you shouldn't do something. And also gives you a good understanding of when, you know, how to act, so that if somebody hears that you pick locks, their first thought isn't, oh no, their first thought is, oh, that's really cool. You know, try to conduct yourself in a way that people would think that it's cool that you do that, not be concerned. Anyway, what we have is, I'm going to show this, and we've got they're all standard key pins, of course. We've got a standard in 1, a spool in 2, a standard in 3, a spool in 4, and a standard in 5. And these key pins, he's gonna pick out a key from my collection of keys, and then we are going to start modifying and make a challenge lock out of this guy.
Okay, so what we did was I found out a key in a big pile of keys, and then we had to measure the key so to see what pin we had to put in. So how to measure it is, let's just say we're measuring number 3, pin 3. You look at 1, 2, 3. There's a third one where it is like carved out basically. You have to find what that is, and it is a Kwikset. So then you put it in right here, and then you have to line it up where the notch is, and then you put it straight up and down, not like that or anything, and then you put it in, and it is number 3. So then you come on here, and it is it's a bottom pin number 3, and then you take the bottom pin number 3, and then you put it inside of the plug, and then, so number 3 is the third one from the back, and then all of them go up, and it is even with the...
You can go ahead and show them. All seems to be working. But we'll have to test it out later in the Bible. All right, we'll be back ready to make some pins. Okay, so we have, he's drawn up just some basic guide to what the key pins are. I mean, what the driver pins are going to be, based on the key pins and how much space there is, and whether or not like spools will interact well with that key pin. What we're going to do is right here we have files, and then some little almost like needle files, but they're for a Dremel type. And we also have a hacksaw blade. I'm going to be operating this guy. This is not my regular Dremel. This is actually a Craftsman rotary tool, and I found that I actually had this just as a backup for remodeling work, and I got this really cheap at a garage sale, and I found that the collet on here is absolutely wonderful for holding on to pins. So we are going to put this in, and then we'll tighten this up. Use some pliers, and then we're going to try to do some cuts. All right, go ahead.
This first?
Yes,
Okay.
We're going to use the hacksaw for the cuts. Beware, all of you headphone users, and go ahead and hold it right here.
Right here?
Because you don't want it to flip up at you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, don't touch it until it's going.
Okay.
And then push very lightly. Toward the end. There you go. How much do you have there? You can go a little deeper. Okay. Got a little bit of a serration. Actually, that's closer to where the spool could be. So, sometimes it's just a work in progress. Might want to make this spool a little bit deeper, or go ahead and switch to your little needle file, and then we can put a serration in with this sharp file right here at the very end. And so we're going to do that.
This first.
All right, let's check it. Okay. It's hard to see, but we do have, there you go. Yep, there's a spool, and now we'll put a serration on this end, since this is the key pin side of the pin, and he will put in serrations with a hacksaw right there. Beautiful. That's a good pin. And I forgot to mention that, of course, we are following safety guidelines. We have our goggles on. We're making sure that our sleeves aren't in a position to get caught up. We are also standing off to the side so that the rotation of this, when it spits out little bits, there's no way that it's going to spit those little tiny bits on you at all, because we do not want those pieces in our eye. And we also don't want them really on our clothes, because when you get these on your clothes, if you aren't wearing a second layer that's kind of just a discard layer, they can kind of go into the clothing and they can really irritate your skin. All right, we're going to do some more pins. All right, I have put in driver pin 2, and he's going to go to work. Now, since this part can be very sharp, what I will be doing is I will be doing this part. I'll be sanding this with some fine sandpaper as this is going. I do not want his hands to be that close and pushing toward those pins at all. There are other ways you can do it, but this is the way I do it, and I think I can do it pretty safely. That is a serrated one that he made. Got 2 pretty big serrations, and we're going to take it out and we're going to work on some more. Okay, so he's done carving these driver pins, and this is how it is at rest. The only thing is that with number 3, it's just barely, the second part of the double spool is just barely involved, but the bottom spool is definitely very good. So he'll take these out one by one, starting with number 5, and show them to you.
This one,
Okay, make sure you hold your hand behind it or it won't focus.
this one is a, it's a serrated.
But it's kind of smooth too.
Yeah.
It's got just some little serrations. It's made out of a key pin. And show them number 4.
This one is serrated, I think.
Yep, that's serrated.
And then, oops.
Number 3.
Number 3 is
It's a double spool.
double spool.
Yep, it's a double spool, but the top spool barely is involved. But it's pretty cool. And then here's number 2. It fell out.
Yeah.
Okay, for you. Okay.
Here's number 2. It is a serrated.
Oh, we'll have to find that.
It's right there.
And then number 1.
And then number 1 is a spool with a serration, I think. Right
Yep, that's what it is.
there.
I cannot find it. Okay, so it's a good thing that we did a safety check. We realized that we forgot safety glasses, so it's a good thing that we kind of go through things before we turn on the power tools, and we're ready to go. Key pin 2, key pin 1 is actually going to be just left alone standard, but key pin 2, he has decided on a very deep spool. Kind of hard to see, but that is definitely spooly. Okay, we are back, and he has finished up all the key pins. He did an awesome job. Number 1 is a standard. You no need to show that. Number 2 is, I'll hold it up for you. That is a spool, and yeah, that's a nice looking spool. It's rounded. Number 3 is another pretty cool looking spool. And those tapered ends, it makes it almost like a T-pin type spool. Number 4, he's got another little bit of a rounded spool. Nice and fun. And number 5, we have, look at that little serrated. It might almost act like a mini spool. But now we're going to discuss possible threading. We aren't going to do any undercuts because I want him to be able to do all the work. Undercutting, I think, can be a little bit dangerous using the Dremel and or drill. However you choose to do it can be a little bit tricky. I don't want to doing that, but he has been tapping. He tapped number 1 in plug and number 4 in the Bible. And I believe that it's going to do number 5 in the plug as well. Okay, so we are ready to put this together. And so Eddie Main is going to put these in. Got pin 1 going in the plug. Key pin 1. Key pin 2. While I go ahead. Now he is going to grab the Bible back here. He's gonna all reassembled, and he's going to put it back in. We have a shim in, and go ahead and put it all the way in. Now pull the shim out, and then we just need to put this clip on, and then we are going to test it, check, make sure it turns. Now pull the key out. Go ahead and pull the key out.
Can't.
Is it stuck?
Yeah.
It might be stuck. Sometimes that happens.
We figured out what was wrong with the key.
Gonna show them how it works. It does work very well. What we figured out is that some of the key pins, some of the driver pins were very long. So what we did is I cut the tops. I did file the tops of them. The ones that were very long key pins, repurposed key pins, and I cut them down so that there's a lot more room for the spring. And now we have all standard springs in there, and the key is working very well. So we would like to thank you for watching, and be looking for this to go to somebody. It will be a challenge lock, and it'll be going out to the community. And yeah, we'll probably name it after we give it a try, see how it goes. And so again, I am Fast Charlie, and this is
Eddie Main.
Eddie Main, my son, and he's getting over a cough, and he'll be back to school tomorrow. So thanks for watching, and be good and be well.